What name could contain such a glory? In the cool breezes of Eden, wrought from the infant earth, one arose, the voice of his creator speaking his identity to life. Adam, man. And as heaven waited short with breath, the creator spoke yet another, Eve, mother of all the living. So it was with Abraham, named in the promise as the father of nations, Peter, the rock upon which the church would stand. The name called to life the destiny within. The name set the stage for all that was to come. And unto us a child was born. And what name could contain his glory? For he was mighty God, as the universe gasped into being, flinging rays of light from his presence to pierce the void, to shatter the shadows to a tapestry of color. And he is mighty God, shattering our darkness, revealing our light, our truth in him. He was everlasting Father when orphaned Israel needed a father's touch. When we, with grief-stricken cheeks, need the embrace of one who never leaves. When we have lost our way to dark horizons, it is our everlasting Father who lights the way home. He is Prince of Peace. When, like Elijah, we need the still small voice in the turmoil's midst. When, like David, we need the melodies of his presence to soothe our troubled minds. He is sanctuary within our trials, shepherd guiding us to still waters. And yes, he is wonderful counselor, God who gives counsel in the chaos, crafting disorder into calm and failure into beauty. He is a voice for the voiceless. He is dignity for the stateless soul. It is he who raised up a lowly shepherd to become a king. He who took the fishermen of Galilee and made them leaders of history. It is the counselor who redeems our lost years, breaking chains that have kept dreams imprisoned and joy confined. The name reaches across eternity, exclaimed by the splendors of galaxies, sung by the passions of angels, roared in heaven's fervor, exalted in creation's unfettered rejoicing. What name could contain him? What title? What soul renown? For this is our wonderful counselor. This is our mighty God. This is our everlasting Father, our Prince of Peace. What name could contain Emmanuel, God with us, Yahweh, the great I am? What name could contain the word of life, the light of the world, the King of kings, the Lord of all? We bow to the name that holds every other in its matchless worth. What name could contain such a glory? What name but Jesus? We cry Jesus. We cry holy is the name.
All right. Well, hey, I am so glad that you are here tonight. Man, Sunday night. Thank you for being flexible. We were joking. I didn't think there'd be very many visitors because how would they know that we were going to be here? Because, but hey, I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for the flexibility of us switching around. Many people ask, like, wait, so why are you Sunday nights? I'll just kind of tell you. So our contract right now, there's a certain Sundays that we can't meet in the morning, something we agreed upon, and we were very thankful to get to move to Sunday mornings. And so, yes, we're happy to give up a few Sundays. And now, as God has done some awesome things, we're super excited for the new contract. And how many of you know there's just, I find like seasons in life, and you're happy with the one season, then God changes the season and blesses you. And so we're moving into a new season. But I just want to say that I'm thankful for your flexibility. Thank you for being here tonight, and I am really excited for what God is going to do. I do not believe it's an accident that you're here tonight. I wish I could tell you I planned this all out and I was super wise in my sermon series prep and it's going to be Sunday night and the response and all that, but I'm not. And so I was just looking at it and I was like, wow, God, you're good. So I think it's going to be a good night. I'm excited. We're continuing our series, what we're calling His Name. And it's the Christmas time of year, and so that means Christmas traditions. And for many of us, we have certain traditions we do as a family every time this time of year. Maybe for some of you, you go get a Christmas tree as a family. And I'm saying not like you buy one at Target, but you go out with your coat and your boots and you go with the saw and you chop that thing down and you throw it on top of your car like Clark Griswold from Christmas Vacation. You drive home, that's your tradition as a family. For some people, they love that. Other people are like, our tradition is Target, or, they've already cut the tree or whatever. Everyone has different things, but maybe that's tradition for you. For some of us, it's Christmas movies. You watch the same movie this time of year over and over and over again. And tradition is not bad, but sometimes we can get stuck in tradition and lose sight of the why behind we're doing something. And that's kind of this whole idea of this series, is that we also do traditions as a church. We're talking about, the same time of year, and we're celebrating His birth. And so we look at the same scriptures every time around this time of year, and we can lose sight of the meaning or the why behind that scripture. And so that's kind of what we're doing in this series. We're looking at Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. And a common verse that maybe we've looked at before this time of year, but I really want to dive more into really understanding this verse. So let's look at it. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on His shoulders, and He will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. It says, for us a child has been born, to us a son is given. And then it says this, and the government will be on His shoulders. I actually wanted to take a moment just to kind of explain what that means. Because you've got to understand, it doesn't say that He will be upon the government's shoulders. It says the government will be upon His shoulders. What's it saying here is a few things, but one is this. It's talking about His lordship. He is King of kings and Lord of lords. He is King of kings and Lord of lords. There is never a king, a queen, a president, a governor that is upon, Jesus is upon their shoulders. It's that they are upon His shoulders. Let me say it this way. You and I, coming together in this room, all have different beliefs, all have different values, all have different upbringings, all have different opinions, okay? We've got to understand this. We are a Christian who has different views, not views then Christian. And that's so important in unity that we can all come together and say this. I am a follower of Jesus first, because the government is upon His shoulders. That makes sense? Does that help understand? Too many times, I didn't want to spend too much time on it, but too many times people put their opinion, their political party, whatever, they put that first. Jesus is first. I'm a follower of Jesus, and I can come together with different people who have different opinions, viewpoints, and all kinds of stuff, and because I am a follower of Jesus first. Make sense? Okay. Then it says He will be called. And it describes the character and the nature of who Jesus is. It says, He is Wonderful Counselor, which last week we looked at. Counselor means advice or guidance. Wonderful means beyond description. That basically He can give us wisdom and guidance that is beyond anything that we can explain. That's how good He is. He is our Wonderful Counselor. Then it says He is Mighty God. Mighty God, that He is mighty God, that God can and will do a mighty work in and through us. He is mighty God. So many years later, Paul says this, and we've looked at this verse before, but Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20 says, "Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us." That he is able to do more than we could even ask or imagine. Let me say it like this. He is mighty God. That he has the power, the wisdom, and the authority to do whatever he chooses. He has the power, the wisdom, and the authority to do whatever he chooses. And it's so important that you get that into your spirit. It's so important that I get that into my spirit. It's so important that you are reminded, and it's important that I am reminded that God is the mighty God. He has all power, wisdom, and authority to do whatever he wants to do. Because I don't know, there's some times where I lose sight of that, and I lose the fact that he is mighty God. He can do whatever he wants. He's so powerful. He is Jehovah Rapha. He's the God that heals. He can heal us emotionally. He can heal us spiritually. Did you know he can heal you physically? He has the power and the ability to have cancer leave your body. He has the power and the ability to make things in your life readjusted and fixed. He has the power and the ability to fix marriages and to restore relationships. I just want you to know, he is Jehovah Rapha, the God that heals. He has that power. He is Jehovah Jireh, the Lord will provide. He is our provider. He has, like, when I go to God and I come to him with prayer requests and prayer needs, I need to be reminded that I am going to mighty God. He's not up there wondering, oh, I don't have it in the bank account today to help you out. I can't bless you. Oh, I wish I could heal you, but let me talk to this angel and let me hook up with this person. No, I am going to mighty God who has the power, the ability, the wisdom to do whatever he wants if he wanted to. Like, he can do it. And sometimes in our human understanding, sometimes in our discouragement, we start going to God and we start not believing that he's mighty God. You know, I've prayed for people. I've fasted. I've prayed. I've sought the Lord. And I've gone in there believing with all of my heart that God's going to heal them. Only to find out the next day they died. How many of you want me to come pray for you? You know? I've gone in for prayer where I'm tired, exhausted, and just throwing out a quick prayer, and God's healed them. I don't understand. I don't get it. I can't explain it, except that I'm just going to trust that he's mighty God. And he can do whatever he chooses. Sometimes he chooses to provide with a lot. Sometimes he gives just enough to get by. Sometimes God heals. Sometimes he doesn't. I don't know. I don't understand. But I know this. I'm not God. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Bruce Almighty. And he's like, he complaining, so God's like, all right, you take control of just this city, you know? And then it's like, everyone wins the lottery, and everyone's upset because they got $13 or something like that, you know? The town's in pure chaos. I mean, everything's just kind of messed up and stuff. And I just wonder, like, you know, sometimes when we go to mighty God, we're going to him, but we have to trust that he knows what he's doing. He's not our genie to just answer us and say yes to whatever we want. We get 3 wishes, and he has to do what we say. He can do whatever he chooses, and he knows what he's doing. He's mighty God. He always answers our prayer, but sometimes it's not the answer we want. We wanted that person to stay alive. We wanted to be healed of this situation. We wanted, God always answers our prayer. Sometimes it's yes. Sometimes it's yes, but not right now. And sometimes it's no. But we trust. I wanted to throw out something before we even dive further into this message. And it was just a little side note, because we're talking about how powerful God is. And I just wanted to throw out kind of a reminder, because I've seen this in my serving the Lord now for a little while. And he is mighty God, yes. Man, I'm trusting in his power, but I don't want to fall in love with his power. I want to fall in love with him. And many times people become all about healing and lose sight of the healer. They become about the gifts of the Spirit, lose sight of the gift giver. Does that make sense? They make it this one thing, and it gets a little bit off track, and they lose sight of about the relationship with the Father. So I just wanted to throw that out. I felt like I should before I dive into the next chapter we're going to look at. It's a few chapters later, Isaiah chapter 40, verse 28 through 31. It says, "Do you not know and have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creators of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint." I want to give you a few things today talking about mighty God. Here's the first one. In verse 28, "Do you not know and have you not heard? The Lord is everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth." He is the creator. You want to see how powerful God is? Here's the first thing. Look around you. Look around you. If you will take a moment to look around, you will see the evidence of his power. That he is the creator of the universe. The sun, the moon, the ocean, the sand. Like if we really stopped and looked around us, we could see his power. That things that were not there are there now, all because of one thing. He spoke it into existence. That's it. Like I was going through Genesis chapter 1 and looking through this, and it's amazing to me that, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God said, "Let there be space between the waters to separate the waters of the heavens from the water of the earth." And God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place and let dry ground appear." And God said, "Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it according to their various kinds." And it was so. And God said, "Let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate from the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times and days and years." And God said, "Let the water teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the vault of the sky." And then God said, "Let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds." Then God said, let us make mankind in our image and our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky. I just want you to understand something. It wasn't here before, and God spoke it into existence. That's how powerful he is. Like, that is how powerful the God that I serve and the God that you serve is. And when we come to him with our minute problems compared to the vast power that he has, man, we're coming to a God who is mighty and powerful. We've got to get that into our heart, that we're not going to some broke, can't do nothing God. He is mighty God. And he spoke it into existence. Like I was doing some research on this, and my faith and my spirit just started to rise up because I was just looking at some of the stuff. Just like God said, God said, God said, and just one of them looking at like the light, the sun. And I want to look at some, like, I did some research and study, and I kind of want to read to you some pretty, like, it's a little bit longer than something I normally would read. But I want to read it to you, and I want to read it to you kind of the way that I was reading it to myself, and I hope that it inspires you and challenges you. Before I do that, Psalms chapter 19, I'll just look at verse 6. It rises at one end of heavens and makes a circuit to the other. Nothing is deprived of its warmth. Okay? Again, talking about let there be light, the sun. All right. I just want to read this to you, talking about the sun. And the reason I want to do this is because I want you to understand how powerful he is. I was so blown away that all he said, "Let there be light." And we're like, "Oh, good. He flipped the switch on. That's awesome." But there's so much more that came into just that word that conveys how powerful he is. So I just want you to, maybe for some of you, you can close your eyes if you just want to kind of get into your, you don't have to close your eyes, but I just want you to listen beyond your physical ears. I want you to listen with your heart and let your spirit be open to let the Spirit of God speak to you. Like, I want you to, I hope that it gets into your heart. You understand how powerful He is. So I'm going to read it to you. Here it goes. Just talking about one thing that let there be, one thing, the sun. Without the sun, all life on earth would cease. The light or radiant energy coming from the sun to the earth is the source of almost all of the earth's energy by which the processes of nature and life itself are maintained upon the earth. The sun evaporates waters from the ocean. This water vapor fills the air, providing humidity to keep living things from shriveling, as well as providing the moisture for rain. The sun's heat produces winds, refreshing the air. These winds stir up the oceans and lakes, adding oxygen, which freshens them also. The sun is the source of light for otherwise dark and dead world. The sun is almost 93 million miles from the earth, but it takes only 8 minutes for its light to reach us. In spite of passing through the cold regions of space, none of its heat is lost. Its full benefits fall in just the right proportions on Earth's various zones. The composition of the earth and its distance from the sun are exactly right for the forms of life the Creator has placed here to provide the fullest benefits. God has tilted the earth's axis by 23 degrees. This exposes various parts of the world to the sun's radiation in such a way as to make possible the cultivation of twice as much land as would be possible if the earth were always at the same angle to the sun. In space, there are stars estimated to be 2 billion times brighter than our sun, but God has made it just right for our needs. It is 860,000 miles in diameter, and if it were hollow, it could contain over 1 million Earths. It is a huge nuclear furnace, changing 4 to 5 million tons of its matter into energy every second. Who but God could provide such a furnace as this? The sun dominates the 9 planets of our solar system, and it's responsible for holding each one in its course. No collisions are possible because of the speed of each planet as it travels in its orbits. Together with the gravitational pull of the sun makes it maintain a uniform distance at all times. Who do you think put this in place? Who do you think set this in motion? You want to see how powerful God is? Look around you. When I started reading that, man, my spirit and my faith started to rise up that I serve mighty God. That all He had to do was speak it, and it's amazing the complexity and the amazingness and awesomeness of just what that word is. When I go to Him with one of my issues and one of my problems, I'm going to mighty God that all He has to say it, and it's healed, it's fixed, it's taken care of. He's that powerful. First thing was just look around you. He has the power, the wisdom, the authority to do whatever He chooses. The second thing we're talking about, mighty God, is this. We want to know how mighty He is. We have to spend time in His presence. We have to spend time in His presence. In verse 28, let me go back. It says, but verse 31, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Those that hope in the Lord. Another translation maybe you've heard of is those who wait upon the Lord. Those who wait and hope. Those who wait and hope. They do not grow tired. How many of us in this room, you grow tired? How many of you tired right now? You're not used to a night service. You got some coffee so you can stay awake, and I have to preach extra hard to keep you awake because it's nighttime. We all get tired. We get exhausted, but He does not grow tired. He does not get exhausted, okay? And it says that those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. Those who wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. So the word renew actually means to exchange. When it's saying that those who wait or hope on the Lord will renew, what it's saying is that those who hope or wait on the Lord can exchange with him. You're exchanging. You're taking your weakness for his strength. You're taking your tiredness for his energy. It's like, this might be a horrible illustration considering it's winter now, but when you're grilling and you have a propane tank, and your propane tank's empty, what do? You take it in, you exchange it for one that's full. And what's it's saying is those who hope or wait on the Lord can come to him and exchange. I'm exhausted, I'm full of energy now. I'm exchanging, I'm weak, I'm tired, I'm fearful. I'm exchanging it now for some energy and for faith and hope. And so I'm renewing, I'm exchanging for his power. I hope that we here as a church never just get caught up in doing what we always do. I hope we don't just come in on Sunday mornings and sing songs to sing songs. I hope we come in to experience his presence and worship him. I hope we don't just want to hear a good talk, but I hope we want to experience his power. 2 Corinthians 4:20 says, "For the kingdom of God is not a matter of talk, but of power." Those who wait on the Lord can exchange. Those who wait. The word wait actually means to connect or twist together. So I want you to understand this, because we got to spend time in his presence if we want the power of God. And what it means is those who twist up with him or connect with him can exchange with him for his power. God, maybe the best way to say it like this: God is not high-speed internet, kids. That's all you guys know, is I want super fast. Better download real quick. How many of us older folks, we remember something called dial-up? I'm trying to get a web page to load, and I'm going to go cook breakfast or dinner and come back and wonder if it's downloaded yet. God isn't high-speed internet, where we just go to him, up, fill me up, okay, exchange, I'm good, and I don't. No, it's those who wait, those who hope, those who twist up and connect with him. Those who spend time in his presence can become all twisted up with him, and in that process, I can exchange now with him and receive his power. Does that make sense? You want his power, you got to spend time in his presence. I can't tell you how many times people, they kind of make fun of me sometimes because I get here like really early to spend time going over my message and praying. You don't have to get there that early. Yes, I do. Because if I don't get here that early and spend time in his presence to prepare my heart and to be twisted up and exchanged with him, you will not be impressed with my speaking. When you walk out and you're like, that's a really good message, all what you're saying is this: the Lord showed up. Because I'm not that good a speaker. I promise, like when I was growing up, there was only two things I thought I'd be in life. One of them was a model. That didn't turn out. I'm just joking. Okay, moving on. Third thing is this. I'm going to ask the worship team, you guys can all come on up. Third thing would be to trust in his promise. So the word wait and hope, like I said, they're interchangeable. It actually means that like you're coming with expectancy. Maybe the best way I could describe that to us in understanding it is around this time of year, Christmas. I don't know if you remember being a kid, and what do you do on Christmas Day? You're anticipating Christmas and presents. And so you don't get up early any day of the week, but on Christmas Day, you're waking mom and dad up at 4 a.m., right? Like, it's like, hey, let's wake up. Like, I've been waiting for this day for the last month, you know? And you're waking them up instead of them wait. You've been anticipating, expecting, like, it's here. When we say trust in his promise, it's that I have that kind of expectancy. And I'm coming in to church to make sure I'm expecting to have a time with him. I'm expecting in his promise. If God said it, he's going to do it. There's this anticipation that if we want to see God's power at work, I tell you, open your eyes and look around you. You'll see his power all around, how powerful he is. Second thing I tell you is spend time in his presence. Wait on him. For some of us, it might be those seasons of life where we need extra time with him. A church service just isn't enough. It's not enough time to get all twisted and connected. We need some time in the morning, some time at night. We just got to get a little hungry for him and in his presence. And then to trust his promise. Now, as I was praying for today's service and kind of how to wrap it up, I'm excited to have a little bit of extra time. We've been doing about an hour-long service. As we go into the new year and having a little bit more time, we want to do a little bit longer. Nobody freak out. We're not doing like a 10-hour service or anything. Just an extra 10 minutes or so. But we always just want to have some response time at the end and go back into worship. And I kind of shared this one Sunday. I was praying through why do we go back into worship at the end? And I just had this picture when I was praying that fishing, and I don't even like fishing. I don't fish. I know some of you do. My son loves fishing. I don't fish. But I learned something about like when the hook gets in the fish's mouth, sometimes they get away. And what they tell you is to pull on it and set the hook, and you get it stuck into his mouth, and you can pull the fish. And I can't tell you how many times I've sat into a service where I took a bite, and I left, and I was just the same person. Because I didn't let it set. And to me, that's kind of the response time, is letting it set. What is the Lord speaking to me? What am I supposed to do? What is my action step? What is my response to him? And so I'm going to ask you to stand on your feet. We're going to go into a time of worship. And I just want to encourage you to spend time with him and worship him and ask him what the hook being set for you is. But I wanted to do something specifically for tonight. And I'm going to ask the prayer team to come on up and come down here to my left and your right. Those who are able and willing to pray, they're going to be available for you as we go into a time of worship. Because I could walk through a lot of prayer requests that we have gotten over the last 6 weeks. And I'm telling you, we serve a mighty God. We serve a mighty God who has the power to heal. He has the power to set free. And so I believe he can. For those of you who have expressed that you have cancer, I believe God can heal you. For those of you who have talked about you got MS, God can heal you. For those who have been struggling in their relationship with God or their marriage or whatever, God can start to put a seed in there and you can start to see a change happening. Because I believe we serve mighty God. And if you don't believe that, man, go back and look at what God said. Because it's so amazing to me that all God had to say is let there be light, and look at the complexity of what he made happen, all because he spoke it out into existence. And for some of us, we're kind of going through this season where we're discouraged, we're down, we're depressed a little bit, we're hurting, we're struggling, the list goes on. And I'm not saying that God will heal you, but I am saying that God can speak something into existence. His word, his voice, an encouraging word, a verse that you can hang on to. That even if you've got 3 weeks left to live, the next 3 weeks you can have faith instead of fear. Does that make sense? All because he spoke it. What is his voice saying? I hope that helps. So I want to encourage you today as we go into this time of worship. If you need prayer on anything, man, I want you to come up here to my left, your right. They would love to pray with you today. If you don't have anything like that, you just want to spend time in his presence, we're going to spend a little time worshiping him. And I just want you to ask him, what is he speaking? What can he share? What is your action step? What is your hook being set for you? So God, I just invite your Holy Spirit to be here to do whatever you want to do, Lord. And I pray that as we take the next few minutes and we worship you, I pray for those who step out of their seat and respond, that you would be right there to meet them. Lord, I pray for those of us who spend the next few minutes just worshiping you, that God, what is it for us that we need to walk out of here to have our faith risen, that we serve mighty God. So God, we just take the next few minutes. We worship you. In Jesus' name.